All right, so we are going live. Hi, everybody. First of all, welcome to everybody that's in the Zoom. How are you guys? So where are you guys calling in from? I would love to meet some of you. We have Liza. How are you? Liz, welcome. Esteban, John, Kevin, so great to see you guys. Great that you made it, John. So great that you made it. So, as usual, I'd love to start our call today by taking some questions. And there were some questions last time that I didn't get to answer. So I wanna jump in to answer those questions now. Let me start with the Zoom. So anybody in the Zoom have any questions or anything that they're working on? Liz from Philadelphia, hi. So great to have you. Is this your first time, Liz? Yes. Oh, good. I'm so happy to see you here. Do you guys have any questions? Anyone have anything that they're working on? Any blockages? Anywhere that you feel stuck or difficult?
Hi, Geraldine. It's Esteban. Good to see you again. Hello, everybody.
Go ahead and
Happy to be here with everybody as well.
Jump right in.
Geraldine, can you hear me?
And let's go into the chat here on YouTube. Hello, Cedric. Welcome, Marilena. I list your email to the Zoom link. Geraldine, I list your email to the Zoom link. Hi, Marilena. Did you want to join us in the Zoom? You are welcome to join us. I'm going to add the link. Esteban, come on in, please.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, for some reason, I can't hear you. Hold on. That might be me. Just a moment. Okay, try now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, awesome.
All right, beautiful. Good to see you again. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
Doing well. Been doing a lot of the work and catching up on this mini challenge. I'm really enjoying it. I had something been coming up over the last 2 weeks, which was an aspect that I felt I had tapped into and kind of resolved, but apparently not. As you know, I stopped smoking cannabis for almost about 9 months, and the channel was totally open. I was getting my messages. And just over the last 2 weeks, that's come up again. And I started using very sporadically. But there's an aspect of me that just keeps gravitating back to the plant. And I'm having a little bit of I guess I could say I could appreciate a different perspective to see maybe what's going on there. What deeper layer of myself have I not been tapping into or haven't identified that still needs that healing or that attention?
Okay, excellent. I kind of love that you brought this up because this has actually been coming up this week a lot for a lot of my clients and people that I work with. So let's talk about the plant. Marijuana is a very powerful plant. It has a specific, every single plant in this, every organism in this universe has an architectural structure, a geometric structure. Okay. When we unite ourselves with a natural essence of the planet, those geometric structures, they merge with us and we merge with them, we interact with them. Both the information that's encoded in that geometric structure affects our coding in our DNA. Okay, so it'll change us, and vice versa. We are in a way entangling ourselves with these plants. Okay, in the case of ayahuasca, any kind of plant medicine, people use so many different things. Every single one of them has a specific essence, and they also have a feminine and masculine element to them. Okay, marijuana in particular for this question is primarily the feminine, the divine feminine. It represents the mother. Okay, and the structure of the plant itself geometrically is so much like a web. It functions like a web, and the purpose of that is in order to create a net, kind of a nurturing blanket of energy for the human that requires healing. Now, marijuana is is a healing plant, and because the function of this plant is very much maternal, it's a very nurturing essence. The purpose of it is to kind of gently and temporarily lighten the impact of the emotional sensors in the body, the nervous system, in order to allow time for the human to heal different things. It can be illnesses, it can be pain. It's excellent for pain management and things like this. But what happens when someone starts to use it a long time without proactively helping to heal their own body is that there is an attachment, and that the maternal energy kind of takes over into an imbalance in the relationship that you have with the plant. So what happens is that we become attached to the nurturing essence of the plant. And a lot of times the root of this and the root of the illnesses that require utilizing the plant are the disconnect between the feminine within us. So mother disconnects with mother, disconnects at the time of birth, abandonment programs, feelings of not being loved, not being nurtured, not being able to find that nurturing connection within ourselves, cultivating and strengthening that, and then requiring this as an aid. So psychologically, what ends up happening is that the person goes through, and the plant is very powerful in its psychological side effects. There are, people get waves of terrors and fears and anxieties that come up, and at the same, on the other side of it, strong feelings of attachment. So all of those we would think of it psychologically in relationships as kind of a codependent attachment. It becomes a codependent attachment to the plant, where we require this support in order to feel safe, nurtured, and connect as close as possible to the feeling of love, because the plant has this very beautiful chemical that allows the nervous system to calm down and heightens the receptors of pleasure and sensations of wellness. Okay, so remember that these chemicals can be induced through our own meditation, our own work. Okay, now another side effect that happens long term is that when we have this codependent attachment, and it's subconscious, okay, it might not always be at the conscious level. The dependency of the maternal nurturing that we require then becomes long term. And what happens is that I call it a very sticky substance, because in the field, in the quantum field, when I see the bodies of people that utilize this, it's like they have this webby, gooey substance around the third and seventh dimensional layer of their body. The seventh is up here. And it's very sticky, like they can't really move forward. It becomes very slow, in their ability to navigate higher dimensional layers, and integrate fully. See, people can have visions when they're on these medications, but what happens is that there will be a disconnect, and because of this substance that gets into the third and seventh layer of the body, the integration process of whatever you're experiencing isn't going to be fully met in the body through all the systems that are required. And that's actually the most I don't want to say damaging, but it's the most effect that it has on the human long term, that it doesn't allow them to fully experience their integration in whatever healing they're accessing through the plant. That's why it has to be used temporarily. The shamans used it, and a third issue that happens is people tend to develop blockages in the seventh and eighth chakra for manifestation, because the plant is such a nurturing essence that the person can't activate their masculine enough to put things into action. So that's where the lack of integration also happens. It becomes all about the sensory body, the senses, what it feels like, feels good, feels great, but then there is no integration from that information into action. And that's one of the second most severe side effects of using the plant that hinders your spiritual and physical evolution. So the plant is really meant to be used temporarily for healing. Longer than that, it becomes a hindrance to the embodiment. And what needs to be worked on is the balance between the feminine and masculine. So becoming your own source of nurturing, protection, especially the nurturing love, coming into the feeling of love, not feeling lonely or disconnected or abandoned, working on those programs so that you can become your own source and then connect to source directly. And the other fear that comes up a lot, which is a side effect of the anxiety that's triggered by the plant, feeling okay in the unknown, right? So that's everyone's challenge, but this plant heightens that because we want to be safe, we want to be comfortable. So it's really hard to break away from that comfort into states of uncomfortable learning and growing. So that would be the thing. So work with those two areas and it would be easier to let go. The detox process of the plant is quite lengthy. Okay, it takes at least 6 months minimum to get that thing out of your system and your energetic field running energy. Otherwise, you will want to continue going back to it. So these are just couple things. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it definitely did help, and it makes perfect sense with everything, and really resonates. Prior to, I was, definitely reaching these levels through my breath work, through yoga, through different stretches, exercises. And as of when I started using again, like I said, no more than 10 days ago, I have fallen off the path of my breath work and yoga and all that, and being very,
Interesting.
very
Yeah.
attached to the safety that the plant's offering.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Amazing.
yeah. And then
Okay.
the channel was really open then. And now I feel muddled in a way. I feel like cloudy and hazy when the information tries to come in and I'm not fully embodying it. So
That's what
100% spot
happens.
on.
Wow, amazing. That's what happens. So to clear it out of the system, couple of things. You're going to have to drink a lot of water, number one, because you need to keep the fluid going through because it creates little crystals in the system. Okay, so we need to clear out those crystals that create that geometric form that it's like a kind of traps the essence of the body. Okay, so you're going to clear that out. Clear your third and your seventh dimensional layer, like actively get in there and clear it out daily. And it takes courage. It takes courage. I understand it's kind of challenging, but come into a place of safety and love and protection as much as you can from your own essence. Every morning, as soon as you wake up, fill yourself up with love and appreciation and give yourself that maternal love that we require. Okay, that most of us never really experience that, so we kind of have to generate it within us, and that's actually what today's talk is about. We're going to talk about what does love actually feel like, because I realize a lot of people have a really hard time even accessing that emotion, so in that feeling. So thank you so much, Esteban, for that awesome question.
Thank you.
um Thank you. Let's go over to Liz. I missed a contact experience last week. Oh, Liz, do you by chance, yes, I do. We can talk privately about your interdimensional experience. If there's anything you want to share now, you can. But this is a live, so I don't know if you feel comfortable doing that. We can talk privately. Yeah? Yeah? Okay.
Thank you. I prefer if we could privately, just so
Yeah.
I need some direction to hold me until I meet you in May. It's been,
Absolutely.
everything's coming quick, fast, and I just need some, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes of just an expert to say, take a deep breath. This is what you know what I mean?
Yes,
Please,
absolutely.
if I can.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so stay with me at the end tonight on the
Okay.
Zoom call.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, love. Kevin, I really like the distinctions you are making with marijuana, Geraldine. I work with it from time to time in order to deepen my before bed yoga. Fortunately, I have never developed the attachment to it that you speak of, but I know what you're speaking about. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for that, Kevin. That's amazing. All right, anybody else in our Zoom call have a question? And I'm going to jump really quickly here on.
Yes, Geraldine.
Yes.
Today, what I did this morning, because I developed a tooth carie,
Uh-huh.
and I asked, because remember, I asked you last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, if we have the ability to heal ourselves with help from the guides. So what I did this morning is that I've set the intention that I am going to heal myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I did.
Wow.
And I removed the inflammation and all of that comes with the tooth decay. However, I would like to know how I can continue on this progress. How do I maintain this level of awareness, and how to continue how to heal myself?
Yeah. So I will mention, things like caries and things like that. We do need to be very careful, make sure we do get proper attention for them, because the teeth system is deeply interconnected with our organs and maintaining balance in the body. And when we have an issue in the tooth, you need to look at what tooth is having the issue. I will try to find that map right now and show you, but there's a connection between the organs and network systems in the body that are deeply affected. And this will help you heal on the even deeper level. Okay, so you were able to access the pain and get yourself out of that. Do get medical care to make sure that it's taken care of for long term, and doesn't affect you long term. But on the subconscious level, every single one of the tooths has a meaning. And the primary reason that we have problems in the teeth is ancestral programs that we're still running subconsciously. Really, really deep subconscious programs that really kind of connect to the collective layers. And usually people that have been working a long time, they begin to access this information at some point. Not necessarily through pain. It just becomes aware it just becomes part of their awareness. So we need to take a look at what is this collective subconscious ancestral blockage that we haven't dealt with, and work on that. That would be the thing. Aside from that, to maintain this kind of work, it's connection in the present moment. It's really as simple as that. How do you maintain health in the body? You completely stay present in the present moment. And the present moment allows you to completely connect with your body, to become aware of any triggers that are coming at the moment. And in that instantaneously being able to address the emotional triggers that can arise from that. Okay, so working on those proactively is the best way to maintain health all the time. Most of our illness will come from the leaking of our life force, either in the past or future thought forms. So remember that we can maintain really great health by being totally embodied and aware of our body 360 degrees in a state of awareness. Okay, so that's really how how we maintain wellness in the body. Yeah. Thank you for that question. Cedric says, question about healing using frequency and vibration. Hey, Cedric. Yeah, tell me.
Yes, thank you, Geraldine, for inviting me to the Zoom call and to this panel. The question that I have is about using frequency and vibration to heal. And
Mhm.
what I'd like to know is a better understanding about that in order to experience it from a psychosomatic way of healing, whether if it's emotional, mental, or physical.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I understand that the body do have its limitation. So once it get to that point, is it all about just acceptance, saying, okay, there is no cure for this. I just have to deal with it the way it is and not give up on my meditation practice in order to understand that it's the frequency and the vibration that I take in that's a part of that healing process. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, so there are two ways that illness manifests in the body. Okay, some of our contractual agreements with illness are beyond this lifetime. What does that mean? That means that generationally, our life purpose, being incarnated into the family that you're incarnated in, came with the agreement to experience a kind of illness that will help you transcend any kind of emotional blockages that have not been resolved for many generations in your ancestral lineage. These can be things like AIDS, like immune diseases, like severe diseases, even cancer, things like this, or illnesses that are adopted at a very early age and then something that you have to deal with your whole life. Are things that we adopt, intergenerationally. Okay, so to access that, to do the healing for that work, our primary objective is to bring yourself from a state of survival and suffering into a state of balance, and in order for you to access your highest purpose. Okay, so the process of that requires change in and mastery in your emotions, change in your diet, change in your lifestyle. You are essentially completely ending all of the parasitic cycles of behavior that have occurred in your ancestral lineage. That's how important you are to your family lineage, ancestral healing. Every ancestral lineage is like, it's like a line of light in this universe. And that line of light has a certain vibrational frequency. Every generation that is born has a purpose and an opportunity to elevate the vibrational frequency of that line of light that plays a major role in the collective organism. Okay, so the work that we do here with these kinds of illnesses is really, really important, because it's part of the experiencing of contrast. It's part of source experiencing contrast and the alchemization opportunity that is available through the human vessel. So we are learning how to do that. And for some people, it's the death of the ego, in a sense where they learn how to completely surrender, come into unconditional love and acceptance of these illnesses, which allows them to activate a higher octave and be able to manage and suppress all of the severe side effects of the illness in order to have a normal, or as close to a normal life as possible. When this human does that, they have an opportunity to enter into their highest purpose. And that highest purpose allows them to be in a state of flow. A lot of these people can be artists and be creative. They can be, healers, things like that. But what they do, once they enter into that state of their purpose, they enter into really high states of healing for the body. For example, artists, when they come into creation, the entire body begins to restructure itself geometrically into balance, into health. So the key is that this individual that is born or has long-term diseases is learning how to bring themselves into balance by coming into its highest alignment. That's how it enters into health. Okay, and that's really how all illnesses work. But there's a pretty heavy contractual agreement for people that have long-term illnesses like this, or long-term effects, long-term pains. For kind of shorter term pains, things that we kind of just adopted, things that we just experiencing and we're trying to manage and learn how to heal in us, the work is always in the emotional body. It is about the mastery of the emotions and surrender and the working with the ego. Okay, same thing, but on a different kind of scale. And I need to differentiate them because sometimes people need to experience illness in their life. That's part of their journey. That's why I'm differentiating them. Otherwise, illness is not something that we want to hold on to. And the question is, what part of us requires the illness? If it's something that we just developed, a lot of times we use the illness in order to communicate something. Our body is communicating something. It needs something. We are neglecting certain parts of ourselves. So that is really the root of the awareness that needs to happen. Why are we ill? How does it help us? How does it not help us? And this requires really, really, really deep honesty with ourselves. Because sometimes we develop things in order to get love, to get attention. We hope that we're going to get that through this illness. And then of course the body goes into suffering. So if we can address those needs, the need that the soul has, the need, the expression, the pure core expression that the soul is requiring at this moment in order to come to its highest point, if we can meet those needs, illness usually dissolves from the body into a state where you can access your higher purpose. Okay, so does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. And if I understand you correctly, it starts with a portion of that to open the flow up is surrender.
Yeah.
Now, once that's achieved, is the side effects of it for healing all the way down to the cellular level or mitochondrial level.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Everything that we're doing is encoded in our DNA at different levels. Okay. So these major shifts like this that you do, surrender, for example, the surrender allows you, surrender and acceptance of whatever illness we have allows the body to open up energetically so that you can anchor source through your body. Okay. Any resistance, any fears, any anxieties, those low frequency, low density emotions cause blockages that don't allow that to happen. So over time, this is what your DNA ends up looking like. Okay, it's a contracted form. So yes, it affects at the cellular level what you're doing. Okay.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. Let me go into the chat really quickly. We have lots of questions. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Dorina, welcome. Greg, Venusian, Stacy Brown. Stacy said, what effect does caffeine have on our ability to transmute negative energy into love? So caffeine, of course, heightens our senses. And the thing with caffeine is that we naturally should be able to come into high states of energy. We should be able to restore our energy enough through the night that in the day we have enough energy to stay awake and conscious and in the present moment. What I notice is that caffeine, because obviously it alters our state into a very heightened focused state, it does deplete your life force quickly. Okay. And so it's important to remember that actually you can maintain caffeine-like side effects by grounding, becoming aware of your energetic space, by aligning your chakras, and by being fully in your body. You can actually have caffeine-like effects naturally. Okay, so on the other side of that, caffeine has benefits and it has things that are not so great. Okay, it's a pretty heavy substance to be drinking. Your liver has to process that a lot, and the body isn't having enough water. Like we really need a lot of water. It does clean yourself up. It is a diuretic, so obviously it'll clear out your system. But again, I think that when we depend on anything external to help make those natural functions work, then there's an imbalance that needs to be corrected. So whether it's in our diet, whether it's not enough water, whether it's not enough sleep, maintaining energetic balance. If you have such a busy life that it's difficult for you to get a good amount of hours of sleep, then you need to learn how to manage your energy. You need to learn how to maintain your energy. And you need to be really aware of your emotions, because even throughout these 12-hour days, you should be able to maintain a good amount of energy, and in dream time have a very restorative healing sleep. All of this is with intention and connection to the body. We make it happen. We have to talk to our body and make sure that it is, cooperating with us. And if it doesn't want to cooperate, then that's a request for help. The body is asking, I need something else right now. I'm missing something. So that communication has to be very, very clear. Okay. What effect does it have on transmuting negative energy into love? Is that because it puts you into a heightened state, you're not really in the absolute truth of your emotions. It alters your emotional state. For some people, it really alters the emotional state. So in order to get to love, we need to be as close to truth as possible. Okay, that means we need to be aware of ourselves, be honest about what we're experiencing, why we're experiencing what we're doing, accepting the things that are difficult that we're experiencing. And that entire process changes ourselves biochemically. So that's number one. If you have something that alters your nervous system, you're not going to be able to see what's really happening to you. So it'll be difficult for you to access peace. In fact, I have clients that I work with that have been addicted to caffeine for quite a long time. And it almost creates this barrier from being able to come into a very, very deep state of peace. And it also affects dream patterns, dream states, the ability to go into deep dream states. So these are some things that I would take a look at. Are you familiar with the feeling of calm, of a deep peace? From there can emerge compassion and love. This is the kind of process of experiencing love. So to transmute those heavy emotions into love, we need a deep connection with the self. I would strongly suggest to take a moment to detox from that and see the difference. See the difference between your emotional connection and when you're on caffeine and when you're not. Okay. Venusian says the parrot is so cute. That's for you, Esteban. Krista says, how can we better identify what we need to heal? I find that I struggle with even knowing what I need when I find a blockage in order to heal. Okay, this is a great question. But actually the answer is kind of in your question. If you found the blockage, then that's pretty much the answer to the question. Let me put it this way. Let's simplify it. Anytime we are contracting in any way, this is a place that needs support. Okay. Anytime that we are not expansive, this is a place for us to look for support. Okay, so the areas that we need to address when it comes to healing is basically looking at the patterns that limit our ability to come into our full authenticity. So when are you not coming into a balance, a peace, surrender, authenticity? Okay, taking a look at that. If you're holding back your expression, and these habits, they become very part of our personalities. Because of social engineering, it becomes a norm. Like it's normal for you to hold back your thoughts, your true emotions about something. Someone says, hey, would you like to come tonight? We have to go somewhere. You don't really want to go, but you say yes anyway. That kind of dynamics of behavior have become a norm for us in a lot of cultures and societies, and they're an inversion of a connection with the self. So these are things that we need to look at. That's just one example. Are you betraying yourself? Where do you betray yourself? Do you suppress your own emotions? Are you fearful of your emotions? Some people experience laziness or a feeling of not wanting to go to those difficult emotions. Are you avoiding your own emotions? Are you avoiding your own pain, your own suffering? Do you just say, oh, it's okay. It's okay that I experienced that. It's okay that I'm not true to myself. It's okay that I'm in a bad relationship, toxic in relationship. So we need to address quickly the things that we are denying, the things that we are suppressing, and the things that we avoid. That's where you're going to find your work. And it becomes very clear because as soon as you begin to look at that, it'll be difficult for you to get to those tough emotions. Okay. And that's where the juicy information is. When we want to sit with those difficult emotions and allow the layers of sub emotions to come out, which is all the information that you need in order to release this resistance. Okay. That's where it comes with. So I hope that helps, my love. Another way is if you're experiencing any kind of physical ailment like pain in the body, go to the pain, go to the physical ailment, sit with that and let it speak to you. Let it tell you what emotions you're suppressing, what's being held there that we haven't been addressing. Okay. Marie says, how to practice staying present. So my most powerful way of working with how to stay present is GPAC, because we're working not just with being present, because it's hard for the monkey brain to be present. So we have to work with the multidimensional aspect, right? Because we are multidimensional. So working with the energy centers is absolutely essential for the human, especially in this day and age where we have massive amounts of things that are ADHD pulling us away from the present moment and triggering chemical signals in our body, okay, like the cell phone, like technology. We are all becoming ADHD. We are being programmed to become ADHD essentially. So we have to learn how to pull away from that. And coming into nature is the number one way to experience the present moment. So if you're someone that has never been able to be in the present moment, take yourself into nature and spend an hour in nature. And within that hour, you will be able to align yourself more to the very peaceful. Nature has a very specific energetic flow. It has a very specific frequency. And when you align and start merging with that frequency, your entire body, the organs in your body come back into that alignment. Everything comes back into order, to its natural order. So you go there and just explore. Don't do anything, don't think anything, just exist in that moment in nature and observe what happens to your body, to your emotions. Your mind becomes silent, it becomes quiet, okay, still. Your body, it just balances itself out. It's really, really powerful. So if you can't go into nature, how do we do it energetically? Grounding, connect down to the center of the earth. Bring yourself fully into the body. Most of us are outside of the body. We're up here somewhere. We're in higher dimensions. We are escaping the physical because it's heavy, because it's tough, because it's painful. So we don't want to be in our body. So you have to come into the body fully. You have to experience and become aware of everything that you have that's going on in your body. And that's usually the hardest part for people. Okay, so come into a state, and to the antidote to that difficulty is neutrality. Once again, neutrality. Do not judge what you observe, what comes up. Just observe it, okay? Without judgment. Don't apply meaning. You have this strong emotion and people panic. They're like, oh my God, I can't deal with that horrible trauma that happened to me. I can't deal with the memories. I can't deal with the emotions. Don't judge it. You're putting a lot of judgment into that. So just observe and allow your poor body to express itself so that it can heal, so it can be free. Okay. Second is alignment. The chakra system is the center of emotions. You want to learn how to master emotions, learn how to open and close your chakras. Okay. When your root chakra is wide open, you're going to be in survival mode. You're going to be in panic. You're going to be in fear. That's just the way the body functions. Close that chakra, shrink it down, help yourself, learn how to balance your emotions. So when you shrink that root chakra back down, you will not be in survival mode anymore. You can't, because those systems, the mechanical systems of the body, are not accessing that frequency. That's how simple it is. Sacral chakra wide open. Okay, we have insecurities. We have the emotional centers off, feelings of abandonment, loneliness, disconnect. Those main programs. Close it down to the size of a dime. You're going to come back into a neutral state. Okay, come closer into your body. Solar plexus out of balance, feeling of helplessness, overwhelmed. Everything is too much. I can't handle. I'm running away. I'm desperate. That's your solar plexus is wide open. Close it down immediately. You will remove yourself out of those emotions, because they are subconscious programs that are played on through the matrix, through our everyday experience. Remember, your entire life is the ability to access these and to experience a plethora of emotions. So you're meant to do that, but you have to learn how to come back to zero, because it's only partial truth. That trauma is only partial truth. So we need to come back to the now, in which is the truth. This, what's happening right now, is what's real. Every moment is real. No other moment, not the past, not 1 minute ago, not the future. So this is essential. And the crown chakra is now, this is the maturity of the spiritual human. So now that you're in the present moment, what are you doing here? What's your intention? Okay. Many people think, just being in the present moment is enough. But remember, we are driven by our biology. We are driven by the programs and patterns that we have within us. And the purpose for the human to incarnate in the physical is to learn how to become an alchemist, reuniting the separation into one. That is the architectural design of the human experience. And so in whatever design, whatever expression that might look like for you, it can be a million different examples. Okay. So for you, how do we come back to that wholeness is that we begin to set the intention of our highest expression. So your entire epigenetic data creates a certain vibrational frequency. And when you're in the present moment, you face that. That's what allows you to begin doing the work. The more you deprogram, the more you're going to come into a 0 point, which allows you to come into the highest neutral point. And that neutral point is the no self, the self that isn't identified with programs or with personalities or anything. You're not becoming identified with anything. This is how you become all and nothing simultaneously. Okay, so that self right there, that's the one that can access really high vibrational frequencies. It can also come into highest levels of co-creation because it's all and nothing. It's not limited by its fears. It's not limited by its past beliefs that are only temporary true. Okay, so this is how you come into the present moment. And for that, we create a vibrational color. You begin to identify in meditation, what's your highest vibrational color? And you put that in your 7th and your 8th so that everything that you're doing now becomes this clear intention. And at the same time, it's like a surrender. Okay, your intention is surrender in order for you to come into infinite potential of creation. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Kevin says, I just made myself some chaga tea, very natural energy booster alternative to caffeine. Yeah, that's amazing. I love chaga tea too. That's delicious. Hi, thank you so much for your super chat. Ina Adanova, thank you very, very much. It's so generous of you. Let me come over here to the next questions. How can we get out of periods of feeling stuck, stagnant in regards to spiritual progression? Yeah, so everything I just talked about right now is definitely going to help with that as well, because stagnation is a result of non-acceptance and resistance to some truth. Okay, so anytime we become depressed, anytime we become overwhelmed, and a lot of what's been happening collectively, and I think we talked about this the other day, is that we don't trust ourselves. Okay, this is such a powerful part of this spiritual evolution that some of us, we've felt the divine, we've experienced the divine, we're familiar with love, we're familiar with all of these things, but gosh, part of us just doesn't trust that we are capable. We doubt our abilities, we doubt our ability to heal, our ability to connect, and that doubt is like a parasite. It's like a virus. Okay, it really embeds into every part of your subconscious core, and it is the deepest illness of the human expression. Because when we have that doubt, the human is limited. It is controlled by that doubt in very deep ways, and the doubt is really what the matrix, which is this dual part of this experience, plays on in order to keep the human in a state of fear and survival. So remember that we live in many overlays of reality in this matrix, okay? Part of it can be very parasitic, and most suffering is from that parasitic aspect. But the other side of it is co-creation, expansion, and bliss. It's ecstasy. And the human has the ability of accessing both those and experiencing both those. So we want to find what in us is blocking from accessing that ecstasy, that no self, that infinite self. It can be fear, it can be doubt, it can be angers, resentments, disbelief, skepticism, all rooted in fears. All of those, they root in fear, fear of the unknown. and the need for control, because the human wants to be in control all the time. We want to know what's going to happen. We want to know we're going to be safe. We're going to be okay. But the nature of this incarnation is to be able to learn how to be safe in the unknown. That's the nature. That's the experience. So that when you leave this body, and when you're leaving every night your body in dream state, you begin to train that, so that when you die, you also, when you leave this physical realm, you begin to experience even higher things. Okay, so that's the cultivation of this beautiful opportunity that we have. And we want to keep moving. Remember that the more that we align with nature, the more we become familiar with the ebbs and flows of life and death. We have to embody that. We have to be in constant ebb and flow. Change is the only constant. Okay, so anytime we come into stagnation, depression, wake yourself up. You're going back to sleep again. You're going back into a hypnosis. To wake yourself up. What do you need? Who's asking for help? There's a part of us, fractal of ourselves, that is in pain, that is hurting. So we have to get to that part, and we have to nurture it proactively. We have to provide it with love. We have to introduce it to love, and make it feel safe. Okay, so you essentially are your own master and your own healer. And the moment you do that, immediately you will snap out of the stagnation and depression. Okay, so I hope that helps. Jason, thank you so much for that super chat. Love you. Thank you very much for that. Let's see, when I did Grace says, when I did contracts on the military, it was vital to judge behavior, not people. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle was a great explaining it as well. Awesome. Yes. Ina Danova says, is there such a thing as geometry of happiness? This phrase has been coming to my mind, and I feel like I need to learn more about it to understand it. Well, yes, Ina, the majority of us, our organism is made of water, okay? And you can look at Dr. Emoto's beautiful work on identifying the crystallization and the geometric forms that are created by the input of wave frequencies, sounds, emotions, intentions into this organism, okay? And because we are such we are quite malleable in the sense that we can adapt any form that we intend. You know, we can be in charge of how we are holding frequencies in the body. So the shape of happiness, essentially, it has several reasons. Every single word that we speak creates tones and notes that have specific waveforms and shapes. So happiness, for example, when we embody that, our entire geometric structure changes. And let me just show you really quickly what that looks like. Oh, darn it, open Photoshop. Hold on. Let me close this. Let me come here and let me open this. Okay, so I'm sorry, this is very blizzy. It's very blurry. So just so you can see though, here within Love and Appreciation, for example, has this really beautiful geometric self. It's very organized. There's a lot of order to the form. And most important, it's adopting its fractal expression. Okay, that's actually the most important of these crystallized studies, is that whatever this thank you, whatever intention, it creates a geometric structure, but what it comes is into order. That's the thing. And that's what that's what we become. We come into order. The body comes into harmony when we come into higher states of emotional being, and the entire body essentially feels that way. Okay, the organs begin to function collaboratively. That's why That's why when we do our meditation for alchemy, we talked about bringing happiness, making your organs happy, making them smile. Okay, remember we did that meditation a month ago, I think, where you made your liver smile. Imagine that. I know that sounds funny, but look what happens when you actually intend on that. All kinds of things begin to move around inside of your body and release and expand and come back into balance. Our poor bodies, when we are unconscious, are tight, and we look like these. Look, for example, you make me sick, I will kill you. Such a severe thought form creates severe disorder. Okay, it's a chaos. That's the chaos. Okay, so this is what we need to look. Our bodies hold vibrational patterns based on our intentions. So we have to be very clear about what we're intending and why, in order to be able to hold these geometries of highest expression. And essentially the body comes into its highest order, which is the Merkaba. Well, we have many geometric shapes, but one of the shapes that we want to access is essentially the Merkaba state, in which all our vortices are now functioning in order. Okay, that order happens when we come into these high vibration emotions. Okay, so the geometry of our physical body, when we open up, we balance the chakras, when we clear the blockages so that our vortices can spin, we come into this geometry. So happiness is one vibrational frequency. When you fully embed happiness at the cellular level, which means that your entire body is feeling that happiness, all your organs, your entire physical body, your skin, and there is no subconscious programs that are running, you're in the present moment with that emotion, your body begins to spin, the vortices begin to move, runways of energy and the meridian lines of the body begin to open. Okay, so that's essentially what happens. It creates a toroidal movement of flow. Source can move through the body. What does everyone see as their highest vibrational color? Awesome. Yeah, we will talk about that in a moment. Grace says, Harter, one of the most important sayings in ourselves, I created you. You are not me. I am you. I release you. Yes, it's beautiful. Very good. Now, if you guys have any questions, please put it in capital letters. Ice Lily says, I wonder how much our immediate family is transformed by our inner work. I keep trying to get everyone else out of the mud too, but maybe I should focus on myself more. Anyone have any experience? Yes, this is a really, really awesome question that is important for people, because actually the way that we're interconnected through the morphogenetic field, interconnected to one another, that when you start waking up your consciousness and doing the healing work, the rest of your family will also do it as well. And they're going to be doing it at their level, in their way, from where they're at in that moment. So obviously it's not always going to look like they're completely in the same alignment as us. But the important thing, we can heal ourselves and our family by working at the higher level. Okay, so this doesn't require you talking to them. It doesn't require you interacting with them. It requires you in meditation, looking at your contractual agreement with them. Remember that we break karmic contracts inside of that room. Remember, we create a room full of our karmic contracts. That's basically what you're reading is your DNA and everything that you've adopted ancestrally in order to experience in this life. Okay, so, and what you do in that practice is that you dissolve those contracts in order to overlay the intention that you're going to co-create consciously. You're going to be aware in the present moment, and you're going to co-create consciously from 0 point. That's what you do when you dissolve those contracts. However, we actually need to work on every single one of those contracts, and they're going to come up in our life. That's actually part of the alchemization and the deprogramming process. So how do we do this work? You're going to get the person that you're working with. And now I want to mention that because of the law of free will, we cannot do healings on other people. So the only time that we're actually doing this work is when you directly have a personal blockage or issue with the person that you're dealing with. Okay, we're going to keep it in our family circle. Let's talk about first your intimate nucleus of your own family. So mother, father, aunts, brothers, all of these family members. With them, this is where the work begins. Not yet with your husband or partner or wife, not yet. Okay, first it works in your nucleus. So you're going to see, let's say, mother, father. Okay, in your meditation, as you are working with the emotion that comes up, you're going to see the person, it can be father in front of you. You're going to shine your crown and you're going to see a contract. This contract represents the karmic agreements that you have with that individual. Reasons why you incarnated, past life information, triggers, and opportunities for healing are all written in these contracts. As you heighten your faculties and your intuition, you'll be able to read those better and better every time. And they will also release information as you ascend in different ways. We are constantly evolving with our neighbors, me and you. You are my neighbors. Our family is our neighbors. And so as we evolve collectively through this greater evolution, every octave that we are reaching will allow you to heal a deeper perspective from the same kind of agreements that we're making. Okay, so the agreement that you made with father, for example, you've healed some really tough things from childhood. Okay, but keeps coming up, triggers keep coming up. That means that we have deeper work. So the agreement that comes up, go ahead and take a look. What is the emotions that come up when you are with the person? What triggers you the most? And start working there. The idea is that we want to understand our agreement. Most relationships, especially in family, we have certain agreements to learn. It's always about love. It's always about how to love. So as you see the person, what do you need? What doesn't allow you to love this person unconditionally? That's the question you need to ask yourself. And within that answer is the work for yourself. So as you begin to break those contracts, that work that you're doing, your relationship with the person will change. And this is how you work on the higher level with each individual. And then you can work with family, and then you can work with your partners, your, whatever partners, and change the dynamics. This will clear the cords because we're interconnected with one another energetically. It will neutralize the cords because all the cords we have with people, they're filled with these karmic agreements. They're filled with informational, vibrational data because we are subconsciously feeding that informational data. Until we become aware of it and until we clear it, we're always going to be triggered in the same way. We're always going to be having these problems, and our family will stay at the same vibrational frequency because you're participating in that. You're still in that frequency. So you have to clear your participation in holding these frequency connections with your people in your life. As you heal that and as you neutralize that, you actually open space for them to heal. And what will happen, the healing work that you do will affect the subconscious mind of the person. And the person will have this moment of waking up and beginning to question those things. It will come into their awareness. This happens every single time in my healing sessions with my clients. A mother does a healing session with her son, clears things. Next day, the son calls her. They hadn't spoken in years. Okay. These are very simple examples. Somebody had a terrible breakup with someone. Okay, they clear it. The next day they run into them at the store, and it's like they don't have triggers anymore. Okay, so this is what happens. Organisms in this universe, we're all conscious. When we come into conscious awareness, we meet at those conscious vibrational levels in order to neutralize. And together, we are balancing the vibrational frequency of this entire organism as a whole. That's why our healing, this kind of healing work is paramount if you want to change the world. You cannot change the world by being in resistance or judging what's happening outside. The only way you can change it is by doing this work in the inner worlds, in these higher dimensional layers, in our true connections and reasons for our incarnation. So that's really how that works and how to heal that. Mafona, thank you so much for that super chat. Love you. Thank you for your support. Really means a lot. Really means a lot to me. Are we healing friends also, or just family? We are healing. You can heal whoever triggers you. So remember, if you see someone suffering and you can't just heal them. That goes against the laws of this universe. We have to heal our participation. So if you are triggered by that person's suffering, then you have an entanglement. So we need to neutralize the suffering that you feel, reintegrate the fractals of yourself that have also been feeling those suffering things, because it triggers you because you have that within you in your field. So that needs to be addressed. And it'll open space for this loved one to be able to also heal. And the most powerful thing is that you become an example of holding space. That's the most powerful. You become a holding frequency, and that power of that shifting towards the collective, it has no words. Children will feel it. They feel your energy. Animals will feel it. Other humans will feel it. And they learn by the way you hold yourself. It's a completely different communication that's even more powerful. It's a vibrational your ripple that you create in your cities, in your communities, in your networks. Okay, so that's actually the most important. Esteban says gold and violet, the color I work with. Also, gold, green comes up from Mother Earth. Beautiful, almost colorless white diamond light. Excellent, Esteban. Yeah, we'll talk about those colors. John says, before you drink water, say a gratifying affirmation to it, like, thank you, universe, for blessing me with perfect health, or blessing me with the divine love that invigorates every cell in my body, or blasting me with abundance and prosperity, for I am a magnet to success, etc. Use your imagination. Absolutely. This is something really important. Everything that you ingest, everything that you put in your body, make it with intentions, because everything has crystals of data that are being absorbed by your body, and they are changing the way that you experience things. Okay, so it's really important. Let me see. Anybody else have any other questions? Rebecca, thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Hi, I same understanding of religion as you, but I'm choosing to date a younger partner deep in Islam and vaxxed, but have learned beyond polar with COVID-19. I think a pattern I repeat. Thoughts? Okay. Right, you've learned beyond polarity. Okay. Okay, so Rebecca, really, really interesting question. And it's actually one that's also been coming up a lot for people, okay, at this time. The concept of religion is going to really come into a lot of questions this year, big time. We're going to be questioning our relationship with religion. We're going to be questioning our belief systems in religions. And my hope and what I'm holding space for is that we begin to wake up the collective consciousness from the dependency of something external, an external power, to the empowerment and sovereignty of the human. That's my hope in this year. But this question is absolutely relevant because we need to remember religions have deep subconscious programming that shape and form personalities, shape and form suffering programs, shape and form reactions to things. So in relationships, we need to identify what do we resonate in terms of this individual that you're dating? Okay. What is it that you're resonating with? What is attracting you to them? And the number one question, making sure that you understand the pattern that you're repeating. Okay. What pattern are you repeating? And usually you'll find the pattern in what attracts you. Even what arouses you is something that I would look at, because within that are dynamics of power, control, and how we feel about pleasure, lust, sex, and our own self, how we feel about ourselves. So these things have to be really looked at when we're coming into these relationships before even judging anything else. Okay, anything else, before even looking at any other aspect, taking a look at the really root subconscious programs that make up this individual and what you are attracted to. In that will be your answer, because really quickly you'll be able to identify if you're being attracted to things that need to be resolved within you, or you are truly connecting to someone from a place of love, authenticity, and truth. Okay, so that's where the work really has to be. And let's see, I mean, I have so much more to say about this. But I think that basically is the root of things. You know, relationships are very, very complex, because we are attracted to safety, things that we believe are safe subconsciously. And that's where our work is when it comes to relationships. We have to break away from those comfort zones. Whether it's we are intimidated of our own power, we're intimidated of our sex, we're intimidated of love. Those are the things that we need to look at in relationships. Sometimes those dynamics in somebody creates a really warm, comfortable place for us. And what happens eventually is we go back into patterns of suffering and repeat same traumas over and over. Okay, so take a look at your relationship with why we are attracted to the person. Listen very carefully to the communications, the way that things are being communicated to you, how that affects you, and you will learn a lot about yourself. All right, my loves. Marija, thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you. My gosh, so generous of you. Thank you. All right, my loves, I hope I didn't miss any question. You know, there was one question that I missed from the other day that I want to. Mama Ren, thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you. The question was about the field and the movement of vortices in our body. Okay, so let me jump into that really quickly. I'm going to share my screen. I want to explain this to you because I get this question every time. It's about how do the chakras work? How do they spin? And how do we access information? Okay, what's the right way for them to spin? Okay, so your body is like this. Okay, you are vortex of energies, and this vortex of energy is continual. So if you can imagine this over here, if you can imagine this, you know, your energy centers essentially are overlapping here on higher octaves of your own self. Okay, so this is actually how you look. Okay, you exist here, and your energy weaves and braids through energy centers and chakras in every octave. This isn't letting me do what I want to do here. Okay, so every single octave. So this is you. This is also a fractal of you in a higher dimension. And then up here is going to be another one of you, and it's never ending. You see this braiding that occurs? You are essentially, you look like a DNA strand, that kind of weaving system, okay? And this weaving system of energy, which you participate in, every single point, center vortex point here, the 0 point at the center, you experience another octave of information. So this weaving is infinite. until it accesses what we know as of source. Okay, so every single one of these here, these waves of frequency that we participate in, essentially allow us to experience higher octaves of our own self. Over here, underneath you, into the core of the planet, you have information and data that connects you to the center of the earth. This is you right now. Imagine this being you right now. Okay. This one is you in this present moment. This is you in your 7th chakra, 7th dimensional layer. This is you in your 8th dimensional layer, 9th dimensional layer. So the way that energy moves is that it braids through these energy centers. And this exact same shape and form and weaving motion of energy is the same for your physical body. Okay, so inside of your body, energy is also moving in that same way. Let me find my correct image to show you that, please. One moment, let me find it here. Okay, this one. Now, remember, micro, macro, fractals. Everything in the universe is working in fractal design of this spiral-like motion. So in the same way that your entire human body has this braiding in between dimensions and chakra systems, greater chakra systems, inside of your body, energy is also braiding in that same way through your chakra system. Okay, root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. So energy is also braiding in that same way. So the way that energy moves depends very much on how your body is spinning energy. The reason why it spins like this is because it's a torsional field. It's a torsional field. So the torsional field, when you see it spinning in a spiral-like motion, it creates these toroidal movements. Those are the chakras. The chakra is, if you were to turn this from the right side up, essentially, you would see the spiral-like movement, okay? So this is how one of your chakras look like. So this is, let's say this is the solar plexus over here, okay? The solar plexus, which binds at the spinal cord. You have this torsional movement. The way that the energy in the chakra expands itself, it's like this, and it continues to move until it creates an entire toroidal field around your body. So the solar plexus chakra, this is one example, is an entire field around your body. This grows and grows and grows until it creates the entire torsional field around the entire body, like this. So this entire loop that you see here that it's creating is essentially what happens when this coiled energy system is at its expanded rate. Now, going another octave deeper, okay? So let's say we go into a magnification under a microscope to look at the chakra system. Every single one of these little lines that you see here is also another coiled toroidal field system. And it's infinite. It goes infinitely into its most micro expression in your body. Every single one of these lines, your entire chakra system is made up of these coils. Those coils are vortices, they're portals. The way that the chakra is constructed, I want you to imagine, and I don't know how I can show this. Let me see how I can show it. Is essentially like this. Bear with me one moment. Okay, so basically this is like this. Okay, like this. This is how your chakra, please just imagine, okay? This is how the chakra looks like on even a deeper octave, when you look at it even deeper. And together, all of these coiled systems of information make up the larger toroidal field that surrounds your entire body. Okay, so all of this, these little coils that I'm showing you, these coils are basically portals that allow you to access your holographic DNA. So within these coils is expressed your interdimensional DNA. Past life, simultaneous life, fractals of yourself are all included in there for you to see. Okay, so within each one of those coils. So this plays a huge role in the hybridization program and also in how you are navigating higher dimensions. Every single one of these coils is a portal that you travel through in your chakra system to enter into a higher octave in dream state over here. Okay, so those little coils create these fields, and then infinitely you are coiled yourself. You are a coil. Every dimension is another one of those toroidal field systems, and we enter into higher octaves of ourselves every time that we access or we activate a higher chakra system. Okay, and I'm trying to find that. Hold on, let me just. Here's that. No, sorry guys. Okay, so yeah, so right here, this one. Yeah, so every single one of these is essentially how it works, okay? So because of this toroidal movement, each one of the chakra systems is spinning based on how we are moving information through our body. If we have a lot of stagnation in the physical body, energy cannot move through the body. It's stagnant. So your chakra will spin. Now, when the chakra is spinning to the right, it is releasing the masculine, releasing, doing, action. Just remember that. The masculine is action. So that is like releasing things, okay? When the vortex is moving to the left, it is receiving. It is the feminine. Remember, the feminine has the uterus. It receives the masculine sperm in order to create life. So the masculine gives the ejaculation, the feminine receives in the body. Okay, so just remember those two. That's how energy systems function. This is how the chakras are moving through our body. So for example, if the sacral chakra in this example, or solar chakra in this example, is stagnant, it's not going to be spinning that much, or it's going to be very slowly spinning to the left because it needs to receive, it needs to be given life force in order to move. It's stagnation. Okay, the opposite of the masculine is stagnation. Okay, the opposite of the feminine is stagnation. No creation, no movement, no application. So I hope that helps. Please let me know if you have any questions about that in regards to how we're moving our energy centers. Vonda says, what is the best way to reach you, please? I've tried sending a message to your website portal and also through a message regarding ascension. Wonderful, Vonda. Please message through your account and we'll be very happy to connect with you. Outside Barefoot has been Dan Winter. Yes, Dan Winter does an amazing job of explaining these shapes of our body and energy runways. Okay. All right, guys, let's get started with our meditation now. What I want to talk about, and what I really wanted to talk about today was love. How do we embody love? And there are some main points that I want you to take away for this week in order to practice and apply this concept of self-love. Because many of us have not been familiar with love, how do we access the feeling of love in our physical body? Okay. Unconditional love is the acceptance of yourself and all things around you as a part of you. It is where the veils thin between yourself and the other. All of the ways of seeing things separate become unified. They become whole. So with that being said, the application and the embodiment of love is to apply this knowledge, this information into the way that you interact with yourself. So if that means in the way that you eat food, the way that you take care of yourself, your health, your nourishment, your emotions, and the way that you interact with others. Okay, so how does this look like? The question, how would somebody that loved themselves behave in that moment, is really, really powerful, because it shifts your perspective into taking account for where you're at. Most people haven't done enough work to connect with themselves and where they're at. They're afraid of what they're going to find, or they're blocked, or they're intimidated by what they discover. Okay, so we need to go beyond that, beyond those limitations in the body, in order to be able to access this pure information. And the embodiment of love is a very kind of organized way of feeling emotion. The two main emotions in this universe are fear and love. And fear is separation. So begin to look at your patterns of behavior. Begin to look at the way you eat. Begin to look at the way that you respond to things. How much of your reactions are in order to create separation? Are they based in fear? Okay. I have some clients, they don't want to eat vegetables because they don't like the flavor. And, they don't, some people are even afraid of nature. And this is something that I discovered in my awakening process, that the further away I was from myself, the further I was away from the connection to source, the more I feared nature, and I didn't want to be in nature or connected to nature or trust natural, remedies or medicines or things like that. I was afraid of it. So this is a fear that is embedded in our subconscious mind of separation that we need to bring into unity. Okay, so the closer we come to nature, the more we bring ourselves to the connection with our bodies, the more we'll be able to access this information and bring the body into a balance. And that's in the way that we're eating, in the way that we express our emotions. In the emotional body, we respond to things out of survival. That's fear. That's fear. So how would we respond to things in a place of love, when we feel safe, when we feel protected, when we feel cared for? It completely changes the way that you are. So please, this week, I want to invite you to familiarize yourself with this and to question that. How much of your reactions and your expressions are from fear, and how much of them are from love? And the embodiment of this loving self is one of the most powerful things, because in that state, geometrically, we are moving our fields into a state of unification, not only with our own selves, but with the universe. We begin to align with the whole, and you can align and connect. And the person that is in a state of love never feels lonely, never feels separation. The process of embodiment of love is to dissolve all of the beliefs around separation within us that exist. Okay, so how do we dissolve all of those illusions of separation between ourselves and other things? We begin to question the things that we like, the things that we don't like, and how we are embodying them. So this is the practice that we're going to do today in our meditation. And I want to invite you to just dive deep into this question this week. We are going through our spring equinox, which is so wonderful, which is the birth. It is a rebirth. It is the true beginning of the year, actually, at this time. This is where life comes into its expression. So I invite each and every one of you at this time, within the year 2023, to come into your highest expression by dissolving all of the walls within you in order to embody this unconditional self-love. It will be your portal way into years that are coming of major change that will promote healing for you, that will promote manifestation, that will help you create the new earth that so many people talk about, the new human that we need in order to embody high co-creation and healing. And it will unite us with these interdimensional aspects of ourselves, which are necessary for this moving forward that we're in right now. All the walls are dissolving between ourselves and what we think is separate from ourselves. Nothing is separate and nothing is outside. And you begin to understand that when you unify these dualities within you. So we need this. This is the beginning, guys, of a new era. And for that, it requires a new human, a new way of being. So as we dissolve those walls, how do we feel safe in understanding that you are the provider of everything you need at every moment? Your love, your protection, your support, your health, your energy, your means, your survival, all depends on your well-being, because this is how monks used to meditate for years inside caves, with very little food, very, very little, no heater, that is the mastery over the physical. Okay. We don't need to go there, but we do need to learn how to master this sovereign ability to master this human vessel. That is the invitation that will allow you to transcend this physical matrix that you're here to experience. And at the time of death, provide you the highest rate of spin in order for you to leave this realm in a way that is highly co-creative, able to experience something even higher if you wish. There's no right or wrong. You can experience all of it. But this is the invitation, okay? And we can nourish ourselves with this life force by the mastery of the emotions. So in today's meditation, I want to take you through that practice so that we can begin to experience this love, and we're going to bring it into our week. Okay. All right, my love, thank you so much for joining me today, and get nice and comfortable, and we're going to get started. Take a nice deep breath. Okay, go ahead and close your eyes as you come into a state of complete release, complete relaxation. Coming into a state of absolute calm. Coming into absolute stillness. Okay, as you come into a state of absolute calm and stillness, go ahead and connect with your bodies. I want you to breathe deeply as you come into a state of peace. With every breath you take, I want you to deepen the stillness. Okay, beginning to work with the root chakra now, as you begin to shrink that root chakra down to the size of a dime. Observing how the body shifts. Go up to the sacral chakra. Shift it down to the size of a dime. Going up to the sacral. You're not only are you shrinking your chakra down to the size of a dime, but you're pulling your entire second field of your body closer to your body. Okay, going up into your solar plexus, shrinking it down to the size of a dime. Go up into your heart chakra now. Go ahead and expand that heart chakra, repairing any tears, any holes in the field, bringing yourself fully into the body. Okay. Going into the throat, go ahead and expand that throat chakra. Going into the third eye now, expanding that. Okay, going up into your seventh, go ahead and activate your seventh. You're going to go up to your eighth, activate your eighth. Okay, go ahead and access the color that represents your highest vibrational frequency. It'll be the first color that comes to mind. Put it up into the eighth. Put it into the seventh now. And we're going to enter it into all the areas of our life, into our career, into our abundance, into love, consciousness, awareness, health, vitality, truth, and purpose. Okay, fill your entire seventh field with this color. Fill your entire eighth field with this color as you begin to activate the overlays of your seventh and eighth chakra. This is the mastery over the matrix, over the physical. You are basically pulling yourself out of this reincarnation cycle through your vibrational frequency by choosing to overcome, or I should say, on top of all the programs of the matrix that you're holding in your DNA, you are overriding. That's the word I'm looking for. You are overriding the programs, the matrix program, everything that you are holding in your epigenetics, suffering, traumas, collective pains, limitations. You are overriding in this present moment by becoming a co-creator in this moment. So right now you're embodying co-creation. You are fully in the present moment and you are intentionally creating your moment with your highest intention now. So go ahead and visualize now your field nice and strong, expanded all around you. We're going to begin to run energy as you visualize from the center of the earth a powerful wave of green light force that comes rushing up in your body, creating a vortex of energy. From source, go ahead and pull down a powerful wave of golden light, cosmic energy come down to the crown of your head, combining with the root energy. That's energy from the center of the earth. This is the planet Earth, that life force, that green, that nature that we want to align with, has the vibrational frequency of the color green. And as we align and we bring that into our body, we are adjusting our organs back into health, into the vibrational frequency of nature, of this planet Earth, of the natural circadian rhythms that the body should align to in order to come into its optimum health and balance. The body has a formula. When we connect with nature, it begins to function in its highest and most optimum self. And of course, we connect with source because that's now the higher octave above us that we are connecting to with our cosmic information, cosmic energies. Basically, that's everything in the non-physical. We're beginning to connect with the higher bodies. Okay. So as you combine these two, you're going to create your own, you're going to create your vortex, but also clear your vortex. You're going to send 10% of that energy back down to the center of the earth. So green and gold goes back down to the center of the earth. Okay, you're going to take 80% of that combination, send it up your spine from the crown of your head, creating a fountain of energy, that toroidal field. It just, green and gold goes back out through the upper field of your body here. And what this green and gold energy does is that it clears your connections and entanglements, unconscious entanglements to the matrix. Why? Because the matrix, we are bound to the matrix through the 7th and 8th chakra. That's the DNA of the earth. So everything that binds us to the ancestral karmic programs, all of the traumas that we're experiencing, suffering, separation programs that are meant to be experienced through the physical realm, that all represents the matrix. So we're going to go ahead and clear our unconscious entanglement to those things. I want you to inhale deeply, taking back your life force into your body. People, places, and things that are no longer in alignment with you, just gently bringing that back into the body and letting go. Anything that doesn't serve you. Okay, we're going to take that final 10% of green and gold energy and we're going to bring it into the body now, into the physical vessel, begins to absorb that earth and cosmic energy into the body now. So allowing that source energy is what we're doing. It's not really so much cosmic as it is source. So we're bringing that source and earth energy and feeding it into the body. So allow your beautiful body to begin to absorb that energy into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level. And we're going to begin to make the internal body into a high vibration. So go ahead and go into your lungs. Fill your lungs with green and gold. I want you to make your lungs smile. Make them smile. Okay, notice your whole body, any kind of stagnation or heavy emotions and stagnant emotions there begin to release immediately when you start to put that high vibration into that part of your body. Okay, let's go into your heart. Go ahead and make your heart smile. Feel the intense warmth that comes into your body as you begin to intentionally change the crystalline form of the blood, the water that is in your body, this essence of yourself. The runways of life force that run into your body, we are beginning to change with our intention, the form that it takes. Okay, you're going to go into your liver now. Go ahead and go down to your liver. I want you to make your liver smile. Okay, you go into your spleen now. Go ahead and make your spleen smile. Allowing that spleen to come into its highest optimum function in order to clear out toxins in the body. Any anxiety leaves the spleen. The spleen works so hard to process anxiety in the body and all the chemicals that come with it. Okay, let's go into the kidneys now. Go ahead and make your kidneys smile. Kidneys are the ones that are processing fear. So go ahead and eliminate the fear inside the kidneys, any fear that you're holding on to, anxieties from this week, things that are happening in the world. You are in control of your body, of your experience. Make your kidneys smile. Make them happy. And then did we do the liver? Let's make sure we did the liver, releasing any anger from the body. Okay. So as you begin to see your organs coming into a state of a higher frequency, your body begins to adjust, coming into healing. Okay. So if you can imagine yourself being this present with your body every moment of your day, you can be sure that illness cannot exist inside of this kind of body. So let's go deeper. As you're running energy, as you have grounded, connected to your body fully, I want you to begin to observe all the things that have occurred over the past 24 hours. I want you to observe yourself. What are the emotions that you most came into in the past 24 hours? Take a look at that. Okay, and as you observe that, go ahead and notice the emotion that most comes up for you. I want you to be present with that emotion. Go ahead and feel that emotion in your body. Don't ignore anything that comes up. Okay, go ahead and notice the emotion that is the strongest in your body at this moment. And I want you to be absolutely present with that emotion. What are you afraid of? What is the fear that comes up? What is the thing that you are trying to control with this emotion? What is the thing that you're trying to avoid with this emotion? And just ask yourself, what do you need in order to transmute that? What would it look like to transmute that? What would be the opposite emotion? And what does it take for you to access that opposite emotion? What are some of the thought forms that need to change in order for you to access a higher octave emotion? What are some of the beliefs that you need to let go in order to access that higher emotion? That higher belief, higher system. Just notice the belief systems that are old, that are limited, that are not true, that are actually causing you more suffering, that you need to let go. Most of the belief systems that cause us suffering are actually not true. Okay, so just question, is it true? You might find a lot of times that in the need to control certain things, you're actually completely blocking yourself from them. Okay, so here the question lies, what is the most loving thing to do then? The most compassionate thing to do for yourself. This is how you are teaching yourself what love is. In this moment, you're teaching yourself to love. So begin to notice the most compassionate thing to do for yourself in order to transmute this emotion. I want you to see all the parts of you in front of you that have suffered as a result of this limiting belief. It's important for you to understand the effect, the cause and effect of your beliefs and your actions. And the only way to do that is by understanding that these beliefs are not only affecting this present moment, but they affect many moments because they're patterns that we repeat. And perhaps we've spent our entire life in this survival program, this false program. So this awareness helps you in the transmutation process because you take accountability for the suffering that you caused yourself. We are the cause of our suffering. So we need to understand how to change that. What's a compassionate way of taking care of this body, of this mind, of these emotions? What do we need from ourselves? And I want you to be very practical about your answers. Like in your lifetime, when you're in the thick of it and throughout your day, the moments that you get triggered by something, the moments that you feel depressed or down, or a moment you feel lonely, disconnected. What do you need in that very moment of crisis in order to access the awareness that you can choose love in that moment, compassion? But take a look at yourself and just notice all of these parts of you that have suffered and give them, enlighten them with the access to love. You might discover that we actually keep ourselves in suffering when we don't really have to. We limit our ability to be joyful, to be happy, to be free, all because we are afraid. We're afraid that it might not last. We're afraid that it's not true. We're afraid that we're not worthy, that we're not capable, that it's not okay. We feel guilty. Sometimes we feel guilty that we feel it, but others don't. And then we align to the vibrational frequency of collective suffering constantly. That's a lack of awareness. That's sleep. It's hypnosis. The matrix does everything possible to keep you in a state of hypnosis and disconnect from your truth. So as you begin to see all these fractals of yourself beginning to rise up, to become nourished, to become more expanded in their expression, learn from that transformation that you are witnessing from these parts of you. This is love. You are teaching yourself love right now. That transformation process is how we access love, and that we're also seeing the results of love in vivo. So as you begin to observe these parts of you, all of these parts becoming healed, becoming whole, becoming empowered, standing up straight, becoming clear, having direction, having health, vitality. Take a look at all of the subconscious thoughts that begin to arise. Sometimes we fear health. Sometimes we fear wellness for many reasons. Sometimes we now become responsible for our happiness. Sometimes we have to move out of comfort zones of suffering. So I want you to find within you all the parts that are afraid of this new well-being, that are intimidated by the well-being, that don't feel comfortable in the well-being. Take a look at that. And I want you to work on that part of you. Find that part of you. It's a fractal of yourself that is afraid of this well-being. And take a look at it in front of you. See it come to life in front of you. What does that part of you look like? Is it scrawny? Is it crumpled up? Is it in fetal position? Is it afraid? Do you see only half of its body? Does it feel naked? Does it feel vulnerable? Just look at this fractal of yourself. This image that you're creating of yourself is your subconscious belief systems about yourself in your empowered state. So take a look at this part of you. What does it need in order to be finally coming into its highest expression, to come into that empowerment? Go ahead and provide that part of you everything that it requires in order to come into its highest expression. Notice how it wakes up from this hypnosis that it was in. It's like it rises its head above the water. It takes its head out of the clouds into clarity, into truth, into no suffering. So as you see this part of you now healed, I want you to integrate all of these fractals of yourself into one self now in front of you. You are working in your DNA right now, holographically. You are looking at fractals of yourself beyond time and space in different dimensional layers, beyond future and past, and you are integrating them into a one healed self that is now closer to truth, that is closer to the embodiment of love. So as you see this part of you, I want you to notice what's different with them. And I want you to integrate them into your body now, breathing deeply. This is who you are. So every time that you integrate new parts of you that you haven't met before, you remember who you really are. You are the universe. You are infinite potential. You are unconditional love. You are health. You are love. So as you see this part of you integrating into your body, go ahead and see yourself beginning to clear the first layer of your body. Go ahead and spin the root chakra all around you, clearing out heavy blockages from the root. Let go of all the fears that you have about love, receiving love and giving love, feeling safe in love. Why are you afraid of falling in love, surrendering to this universe, to yourself? Remember, when we fall in love, our immune system goes up. We are unstoppable. We are powerful. We are joyful. We think that everything is possible. That is the highest state of human. So fall in love. Let yourself fall. Okay, so as you begin to dissolve all of those programs of fear around that falling from your root chakra, repair that root chakra all around you. Go up into your sacral chakra. Okay, go ahead and release all of the fears about giving and receiving love. Any time that we doubt our ability to discern and trust the ability to give and receive in a balanced manner. Love. Let go of all those fears, intimidations, insecurities around love. Shame around love. Anytime you might feel shameful of your own expressions of love, sometimes they might be wild and expansive and taboo to what we've been taught in our family circles, in our society. What if you just let yourself go into this powerful love? And this is also another important thing about the attachment of love. We do not expect anything from anyone external. We become an infinite source of love towards ourselves and anyone who wishes to share with us. Going up into the solar plexus now, the center core. Go ahead and open that solar plexus back into a balanced state, clearing and repairing the solar plexus, letting go of all of the programs of being helpless in love, Anytime where we feel love is overpowering or we are intimidated by that love, the power of love. Any anger that we feel towards love, either towards ourselves or others. What do you need in order to no longer be angry about your beliefs about love? Come into that surrender, come into that expansion. I'm going to go up into your heart chakra now. As you expand and heal that heart chakra, make sure that fourth layer of your body is completely solid. What part of you do you need to release in order to know that you are worthy of love? Go ahead and release all the programs that tell you you are unworthy of love. Both receiving and giving. I want you to dissolve within your body all the thought forms and programs that tell you it's not okay to love yourself. Shame, guilt, resentment, fear. Have the courage to let go of those beliefs. Okay, go up into the throat now as you expand your throat chakra, healing the throat, the fifth layer of your body, repairing it. And you're going to let go of all the programs that hinder your expression around love. This is also our identity around love. Okay, the feminine and masculine expression. Is our expression of love feminine, or too masculine? Do we need control in our love? So let go of all those limiting belief systems around the imbalanced expressions of love that we hold within us as a means of survival. This is also very connected to sex, our sexuality, the expression of our sexuality, both men and women. Is it contracted? Is it too expansive? Where's the balance? It's also how we co-create in our relationship with creation. Okay, go up into your third eye now, into the center of intuition. Eliminating all of the fears and limitations we have around the surrender of love to the whole, to the collective. Are we afraid of seeing ourselves as one with the whole? Do we hold on to separation in order to give ourselves worth, identity, purpose? Dissolve all of those programs that create separation instead of unity. Do we fear our dream state? Do we fear our travel in interdimensional navigations? Are we able to love the unknown? Are we able to see unknown as us? Go up into your crown. This is the most important. Our love of manifestation, the love of ourselves defines how we manifest, how we co-create. So let go of all programs around limiting your ability to manifest, to come into your highest expression. Any part of us that wants to maintain separation internally is what allows us to come into lack, into the inability to co-create and manifest. So just visualize letting go of all those programs, integrating feminine and masculine. Breathing. Okay, I want you to activate your ninth now. Feel love in your body as you activate the ninth. Feel compassion and gratitude. Compassion, gratitude, peace. Compassion, gratitude, peace as you activate your 10th. Activate your 9th. Your 11th. Your 12th. Your 13th. Your 14th. Your 15th. 16th. 17th. 18th. Expand your 18th field. Expand your 19th field. Expand your 20th field. Expand your 21st field. Expand your 22nd. And above you is a powerful white light of source. Anchor that white light down to your body now, into your crown, activating the chakra between the solar plexus and the heart, down through the perineum and into the center of the earth, channeling the source through you, coming into that neutral state. Absolutely perfect. Bring yourself back into the room. Go ahead and open your eyes. Amazing. You guys are so beautiful. Thank you so much for the incredible work that you're doing. I want to thank you for your light and the soul that you are coming into this world to do this work. You are so important. I love you deeply. The universe loves you. We love you. And you are deeply loved, and you're never alone. So those of you out there that have ever felt lonely or disconnected, please remember to come into this source, always come into this meditation to connect. So I want to thank you so much for your questions. And let me just go really quickly checking in my Zoom. Guys, how are we doing? Let me see if you have any questions. Nicoela said, would letting go be feminine vortex? Yeah, so anytime that we let go, we essentially are moving the vortex to the left. And we have lots of things moving at the same time, okay? So our vortexes in the body are moving right and left at all time. And as I mentioned, depending on where you are emotionally, some of those might be moving correctly, or some of them might be out of balance. The proper way for energy to be moving is through a very fluid braid. Okay, so that braid is moving this way and the other one is alternating. The energies are alternating in the body in a symbiotic manner. Okay, so when we come into 0 point, all of these energy centers begin to weave perfectly. So anytime you're releasing something from the body, the greater vortex helps you by moving to the left. Okay, and every time you're receiving something, the entire vortex moves to the right. And the idea is that it's completely moving in a balanced state. Yeah, thank you for that question. Anybody else in the Zoom have any comments, anything that they want to say? Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Thank you in the YouTube for your amazing questions. Thank you, Gypsy Rose, for that super chat. Love you. Thank you for that. It means so much to me. Really is. Clementine, thank you for that super chat. So much love to you. Kate Torres, thank you for that super chat. How much do you think the world will change in the coming weeks with these new frequencies? Right now, I'm feeling drawn to leave my job and stay at home with my kids, but I'm struggling with guilt. Wow, that's amazing, Kate. So the world is changing, but remember that we don't want to look outside and focus on what's changing outside, because when you do that, you're losing yourself, and that's not the way this works. We need to change the inside, and that's where the focus has to be. When we hold our vibrational frequency internally, then the outside will change. Only then will it change. So remember, it all depends on us, what we're doing. Okay. So if you feel major changes coming in, that you want to make changes, listen to your intuition and take a look at why. Make sure that none of the choices are coming from fear. They're coming from a place of your highest truth and highest expression. Okay. So thank you for that. Another question that rose was boundlessness in relation to having boundaries. Right. That's a huge one. So because we've been so compartmentalized in our lives, and we're used to having, very myopic visions just because of the way that we live. This understanding of being boundless is difficult for the human, but that's the ascension. The ascension out of this dimension is to become no form. So right now we hold on to our form with everything that we've got, right? And as long as we live in the body, we're going to hold on to this vessel. So the more that we let go of our limitations and fear of navigating the unknown, the more you become familiar with being boundless. Okay, you become all and nothing simultaneously. That's the best way to kind of look at it in perspective. Creativity is boundless. Yes, it is, if you allow it to be creative, to be boundless. Okay, and even then, I will say, remember that within the morphogenetic field, everything has an order. Okay, there is still an order. You might think that it's boundless, but in a way, we are kind of bound by the structure of this matrix. Okay, everything has a purpose and a reason. As long as things are intentional and in alignment with the coherence of this organism, the earth, we are co-creating for the whole. And I guess the best way to look at creation is to ask the question, is this in alignment with myself and the whole? Is it productive and conducive for all organisms on this planet? Because if it isn't, then it's from the ego. Okay, so then it will be limited. It will have limitations embedded in that. So that's why the more expansive we become. Angie says, tears when I went into the body organs, lots of heat in the right side. My vortex was going left to right, my heart spinning separately on its own. Amazing observation. Okay, so yeah, so you discover a lot about what's going on with you. If we didn't have these meditations, we wouldn't have that awareness. So you can begin to change and self-correct what needs to be addressed. Thank you so much, Kate, for that amazing question in the super chat. Much love to you. Let me make sure I'm not missing any questions. I noticed that I am. Are you sure you're not a holistic mystic Isana ASMR? You look like her twin sister. Oh, I don't know who that is. I have no idea who she is, but it would be great to look at her. Thank you, Flo. Thank you, Mila. Thank you, Darina, Ice Lily, Kira. Thank you so much. Gypsy Rose. When I was releasing, my whole body was shaking. Awesome. That's vibrational frequency changing and aligning to a higher octave. So gently, so also sometimes that can be resistance too. So remember, so just gently allow yourself any fear. The more you surrender, the smoother the process is. Okay. All right, guys. I want to thank you again. I love you. Have an amazing week, and I will see you tomorrow. Much love. See you soon. Bye.